XR650L 2021. It's a good machine. I just rode it out here in the middle of nowhere, here in central Illinois. Got my chair with me, this little fold-up chair. Just decided I'd come out here with a wet nobody. There's a ridge over there, and just kind of enjoy myself. The XR650L has a very high seat height. I think it's 37 inches, extremely high. But I did drop the preload on it a little bit, about a quarter of a turn, which dropped the seat height about an inch. I need to go by another quarter of a turn, maybe drop it, whatever to drop it, okay? It's a little tall. I did raise the handlebars 1 inch, and I did order the bigger gas tank. That's a 2.8, I think it is. It ain't big enough. 100 miles, you got to get the gas. Well, that sucks. If you go adventuring like I do, I don't want to stop every 100 miles for gas. You know, 200 miles, I can live with it, but 100 miles, that's... So anyway, I ordered another tank for it. It's supposed to be here next week, or this week sometime. It's I think it's a 5.9, which almost gets me in the same range as the KLRs, which is 6.1, which brings me to a point. KLR had one of them. It was a great machine. It had 6.1 gallon tank. As a matter of fact, I own 2 of them. But I traded the last one I owned off for this XR650. KLR is a great machine. Love that KLR. It's a fantastic machine. Does everything I want to do and more. But the thing of it is, the KLR was almost 75 to almost 100 pounds heavier than this thing here. This thing weighs 348 pounds. That sounds like a lot, but it don't sound like a lot. At 348 pounds, I had it down on one of these back roads one time, and I did drop it. And I'm 69 years old, and I picked it up without too much effort. And I'm going, well, you know, that's not bad for guys pushing 70. So, but now the KLR, I had it, and the day I traded off the KLR for this thing here, I dropped it and had a heck of a time picking it up. I've got it picked up, but this thing here is just so much easier. And what I like about this is it is carbureted. Could it go for fuel injection? If they had it, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. But what I do like about this is it's air-cooled, and air-cooled bikes last just as long as a liquid-cooled bike if you use your head. If you've got 100-degree days out there, don't go out there and try to run, you know, don't try to run the machine full throttle, because it won't last. I found that out the hard way on a 900 Custom. Knocked the head gasket out of it. But anyway, as long as you use your head and take your time, and whenever it's extremely hot like that, make frequent stops. That's the key. Let it cool down. But anyway, it's a good machine. I love it. It handles real well. It actually handles. I have a 710 array too. I love my 710 array, but this thing here has got a shorter wheelbase than the 10 array by about I think 5 or 7 inches, and it corners better and handles better, and it's 100 pounds lighter. And I use my 10 array, which is very capable of doing whatever thing this here will do. But I use it for my road riding, because I like dual sports. There's a difference between dual sports and adventure bikes and dirt bikes. There's sometimes they kind of overlap. They got a gray area there, but there is a difference. Adventure bikes is kind of like my 10 array, even though it has dirt capabilities. It's an adventure bike because of the weight, and because of the power, and because it's a twin cylinder, okay? So to me, that makes that an adventure bike. This is a dual sport. It's a single cylinder. And they used to make, years ago, they used to make twin cylinder dual sports, but they ain't done that for quite some time. The only thing comes close is the Versy 300 Kawasaki, but I would classify that more as an adventure bike than what I would a dual sport. But dual sports are something like this. You can do some on-road riding, some off-road riding. Same way the adventure bike, but like I said, to me the big difference is the weight. If you're going to take something off-road, you don't want to take a 450-pound machine off-road when you can take a 348-pound machine off-the-road. That's the difference, 102 pounds. Makes a big difference. But anyway, and then of course you've got your small dual sports like your XTs and your 230s and which are great machines. And see, and there again, they've got the new 300 Honda L, which is classified as a dual sport, but I worry about poking hole in radiators. So I would actually call that a small adventure bike, but it's, you know, different strokes. But anyway, I bought this thing new about 2 months ago. I've got 2,000 miles on it. Like I said, I did order the bigger tank for it. I do have the de-smog kit for it. I did order the other sprocket. They say that this thing has problems with the drive sprocket eating up the shaft, so I ordered the sprocket that's a little wider so it won't eat up the shaft. I did drop the preload, like I said, about a quarter turn on the preload adjustment there. It's kind of tricky because it's just a double nut, what it is. And that dropped the seat height. One thing I never understand is like on this bike here, and the raised handlebars and this, and one thing I could never understand is why they make a bike that's kind of catered to a person that's 5'5", 5'6", maybe 5'7", okay? But you have to give it a 37-inch seat height. The guy's gonna have to have a metal crate get on it. So, if you're gonna have a 37-inch seat height, then you wanna get those handlebars up where they belong. I like my handlebars a little higher. To me, it gives me, it keeps me from getting fatigued when I go for long rides, okay? Because I'm not hunkered over hanging on the handlebars. I'm sitting in the seat where the way I should be in an upright position, and I can get my feet in a comfortable position, and my arms are where they need to be. That's just where I ride, you know. I know the new bikes are different than what I'm used to, what I grew up on, but so I gotta change to fit me. Oh, and that's another thing. But besides having the dual sports and the dirt bikes and the adventure bikes, you got the enduro bikes. Used to be the old dual sport bikes were called enduros, but they kind of changed all that. And so anyway, this is the XR650L. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, they're talking about the unicorn bike where you can do off-road and highway and all that kind of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, this thing here is about as close as to the unicorn bike as you're going to get, as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, just because of that 348 pounds, it is carbureted. You don't have a radiator to worry about, and it's just. And it handles good. It handles as good as a dirt bike. So the only thing that could be really a con for it is it does have an awful high seat height. There's something about whenever you ride dirt, you like to have your feet planted firmly on the ground whenever you stop. Well, it gives you a feeling of security. So, but outside of that, this bike's perfect. So, you know, if you're looking for a good, I'm going to call it a kind of a mid-sized bike, but you don't want to go quite 710. 700 Henry is a great machine. I still own mine. I wouldn't take that for it. It's a great machine. I've just rode, well, as a matter of fact, rode it yesterday, rode 100 miles, but I thought, well, I want to get out here and I want to do some of these back road stuff, as you can see. And that's just in case if I dropped it, you know, it's like I don't want to drop a $10,000 bike in the shed. I just soon drop one that don't quite cost quite as much and wouldn't cost quite as much to fix. So that's just why I am. And the only other bike I'd really like to have is a KLX 230. That, as far as I'm concerned, the KLX 230 would make the perfect uniform bike for dirt riders. You can ride on the highway and you can ride in dirt. I got to ride one first before I hold on to that, but I'm looking real hard at KLX 230. The 300 class machines are great. I love them for the extra power. They're just fantastic. I'm not that good of a dirt rider. I always drop it, so I worry about poking holes in radiators. That's the only reason I would not want to take a liquid cooled bike out in the dirt, because like I said, I know I'm going to drop it. Air cooled, it's not so much. You know, you can pick it up, dust off, and even though you ding it up a little bit, it'll probably keep running. But you poke a hole in that radiator, gonna be some serious trouble. But anyway, that's kind of my take on the XL650L. Like I said, I own 3 bikes. I own the the T7 Tenere 700, which I just think is great. I've got this XR650L, which I think is just absolutely great. And I have the XT Yamaha 250, which I think is just absolutely great. And you know, you think, well, why do you need 3 bikes? Well, you don't wear the same pair of underwear every day, so if you got an opportunity to have the variety, why not? You know, I think a person ought to own at least a minimum of 2 bikes, one for the road and one for your dinking around. So, but like I said, yeah, that's just the way it is, I guess. But anyway, that's kind of what I was looking at on this XR. I just love riding it. It just it's a dual sport, and I love dual sport riding. Dual sport riding takes you places where normally you wouldn't go or you wouldn't think about going, and it's like if I was coming down here, I'd seen a mud road there, and I thought, well, let's just see how far I can go before I have to turn around. And I didn't have to turn around, made it all the way through, so it was like, well, that's a good choice. That's just the way it is. Like I said, it'd be easy to pick up, and if you do scratch it, it's like, well, I hate to scratch it, but no big deal. Yeah, I put the bag on there because I carry my extra junk. It's cold right now. This is October, well, the day before Labor Day. Tomorrow's Labor Day. 9th, 7th, 9th, 8th, I don't know. So I carry extra clothes in there and extra stuff. Matter of fact, carried my chair. Got this little folded up chair, Walmart, and it works really good. Carry it with me. I can set it up, middle of this crossroad, have a good time. So that's what it's all about, just getting out there and having a good time. Adventure riding, you don't have to have any plans. Your adventure is the ride. So, but anyway, don't overlook the XR650L. It's a good machine. They're all good machines. And if you've got the gumption to get out there and ride a motorcycle and do a little exploring, then any machine you're on is the best machine. Any machine you're on is the right machine. So at least you're riding, and that's what it's all about. So enough of that.